teacher, I have been a journalism teacher. And media has been my subject of inquiry for a long time. It is embarrassing to confess. We keep teaching that media is the backbone of democracy. And great intellectuals like Professor Amartya and also in realm of the Hindu has written that in any society where there is free media, famines are not possible, because of the very nature of democratic politics and how media highlights certain issues of famines and other such major things are preventable because it becomes an issue in media. But over the last couple of decades, we are observing the way media has been going. And with the nature of the change or transformation of politics into more and more authoritarian and very hardcore capitalist kind of expansion that has taken place in most of the countries, media have become also very hardcore capitalist institutions. And in the 1970s, there was this big hue and cry that Western media dominate all over the world, and their worldview is the only worldview everybody gets, because 5 news agencies, international news agencies, actually give news from their perspective. But what has happened with privatization in countries like India is that, again, within the country, there are two kinds of countries that we see, where there is a whole marginalized kind of hinterlands and the highly developed modern parts of the country, and huge parts of the country are just neglected or not seen. It is not good. If you see state after state, make in India, make in Odisha, make in Telangana, make in whatever, each state wants to show that there is no poverty, no unhappiness, nothing is wrong in these states. Please come and invest. So for the image of that state, it is not good to see any negative aspect. It's not glamorous. Poverty has never been glamorous. Though no one ever made an effort to prevent poverty or eradicate poverty, we see that it finds no place in media. Mainstream media just does not like those images. And if you talk to editors, editor after editor will tell you who is interested in reading this. The people who read our newspapers or see our channels are the people who can afford things, who want a better life. They don't want to look at poverty. This is an assumption that most people who are upwardly mobile or want to do something with their life are unconcerned about others in their own society. This is a huge assumption that media goes with. And it is a fairly big tragedy, because the inequality, wealth inequality has been growing so much. In a shocking way it has grown. And we are seeing that absolutely preventable deaths happen in pockets of the country where no attention, nobody goes to see and report about them. And it is not as though the state doesn't know about this. They are well aware of it. If they can send a huge paramilitary force into the same Malkangiri district, into the same tribal villages, in order to hunt down Maoists under the name of Green Hunt, I'm sure they know exactly what is happening in these villages. The energy, the amount of money, the resources that they want to pump into the security establishment and to strengthen the security establishment, they have no interest in actually investing in the healthcare or education or other social sectors. And in state after state, including the central government, we have seen a tremendous cutback on all these social sector expenditures, and the tragedy is unfolding before us. But the tragedy will never show up on mainstream media because of the very nature of the industry that it has become. It has become a very different kind of animal, which is actually sort of out of control now. So only thing that can happen is our cynicism and the civil society expanding its horizontal network, like Vajanti was saying just now. It is the people's horizontal networks and ensuring that information goes to horizontally, seep through horizontally by various means that is going to work, and dependence on mainstream media, I am afraid, is not going to do it for us, because mainstream media is not interested in this. As someone was mentioning, whole day today, Jayalalitha, whether she is alive, dead, going to live, what is going to happen is one of the concerns. And each day they will have a different kind of concern, which actually has nothing to do with the people of that state or the real concern, day-to-day life of those people. And the media are constantly, if there is a film release, there is more coverage for that film release than some tragedy like this. So it is a complete sense of disconnect and complete insensitivity to the real concerns of the people that is actually driving the media industry. And if you see, there is a, I'll just say one or two more points to conclude. If you see what is happening in the entire 2016, if you have seen, it followed a certain pattern. One shocking event after another were unfolding. From Akhlaq's lynching just before the year ending, to different kind of Pathankot happened, then HCU Rohit Vemula, then immediately after JNU, then after that Kashmir. For months, couple of months, there was a whole lot of intense thing was happening in Kashmir, and then immediately after that you had Uri. If you see I tried to make a timeline of these events, and in between we had the murders and lynchings of Gorakshaks that were by Gorakshaks that was happening. When there is an unpredictable event and it becomes a very intense thing in public debate, then you have something that actually takes away attention completely from that. Some of it is politically orchestrated, I believe. When intensely something is happening, Kashmir issue and JNU, all this anti-national national debate was at its most intense. Suddenly Uri and other things happened. Then when that was becoming unbearable on media, attacks happened. Diverting attention completely of the media to something else. But consistency of one thing is maintained throughout in all these events, is that the victims are minorities, Adivasis, Dalits, and the marginalized and the poor. There is a book written by Naomi Klein called Shock Doctrine. In Shock Doctrine, she says, the countries like the US and other countries which are learning from the US are now into what we call disaster capitalism. Disaster capitalism. Create intense kind of a mess where people are unable to think rationally. Create shocking events one after the other so that you completely drive out rational thought and reasonable analysis of anything. If you remember, nobody knows what happened in Pathankot. Do you remember? There was a police official who was kidnapped, 5 people were there. I don't know if any of you followed them. Till now, nothing we know about it. I don't know if any action was taken about this man. He claimed to have been kidnapped by the terrorists, and they made a phone call from his phone. He was a DG or a very senior police official and things like that. We don't know the details about it. Then when Uri happened or surgical strikes happened, every time we don't know any details because something else is happening where the media is rushing there. The entire media is sucked away to the new event where they are getting confused and giving all kinds of reports. When the Malkangiri 31 people were killed, Maoists were killed, that happened on 23rd October. And it was becoming a very big issue because who was killed, how many killed, nobody knew what was it. It was one of the most messy affairs and one of the biggest such killings. It was emerging day after day, this whole thing. And what happens on 31st October, you have in Bhopal, they killed these prisoners who were supposed to have escaped. And the whole escape story is one of the most bizarre escape stories you will ever hear, and nobody knows what really happened till today. There are contradictory reports and contradictory things, but it was a shocking thing, and videos were taken from 5 different angles and leaked to the press. Normally such an event, police would kill you if you videotape them. Isn't it? They wouldn't allow you to videotape. But publicly, 5 different angles, these people, things were videotaped and put on the tube for us to see. And it was a complete diversion. Malkangiri was left behind by the media, and they started chasing this. And after that, 3 days or 4 days after this Bhopal killing, they announced the ban on NDTV India and the entire media was after that. Freedom of press and freedom of thing was denied, and basic rights. And 4 or 5 days later, on the day in fact when NDTV ban was supposed to kick in, on the 9th, demonetization was announced. So from that day we are all in queues in front of ATMs. So this is some kind of a shock doctrine operating in this country, where every day you are shocked out of your wits, where systematically one thing that is happening every time some event happens, the state and its machinery gets totally strengthened. The state machinery gets totally strengthened, your rights are taken away in the name of nationalism and patriotism. The state strength is completely increasing day after day. Each event strengthens the state further, and state machinery, coercive mechanism of the state further. And demonetization has finally taken away your right to your own wages. Legally earned money that you keep in your own bank, you cannot access your own money. That is one of the fundamental rights that you have. Even that is taken away, and we are all quietly standing in queues and submitting ourselves to erosion of rights one after the other. And it has happened right through 2016, and we are not paying attention to the bigger picture and the patterns that are emerging. And I feel very disturbed that these patterns are actually manifesting in events like this, where there are fundamental, till 2014, we were sort of okay, not fully, we were still fighting with our basic rights, right to live, right to speech, and some of those things. We were more or less sure nothing will happen. But now, at that time we said right to education, right to food, and right to food security. Some of those things we were debating, and right to information, those things were coming in, right? From 2014, we are hit back with challenge to our own fundamental rights and primary rights, not secondary rights. Primary rights are again being challenged, and right to life, right to speech, right to basic things. Primary rights are being challenged. Now we are back to fighting for those instead of asking for the secondary rights that we need to fight for. We are no longer in a position to argue about these things, like right to health or right to education or right to these things. We are no longer in a position to ask those. That's out of the debate. We are now today going back and actually wanting to fight for right to life and right to speech. Basic things. Right to our own money, wages that we earn, and keep our own money and live our lives, our livelihood. That is being challenged. So it is a huge setback in terms of democratic politics, what is happening, unfolding before us. And one thing I must, in all solidarity with you all, one of the reasons for coming here today, that it is important to keep this debate also on. Yes, right to life and right to those things are being challenged all over again, but this must be kept up as well. The secondary rights and the right to health and right to education and right to those things which we have been fighting about must continue. We cannot be defeated and be scared. One of the purposes of this kind of assault on primary rights of right to life and right to speech is to silence or shock people into silence. because you don't expect a democratic polity to do that to you, and it is doing it to you and challenging you about what can you do if you do this to you. So we must take the challenge and also keep asking these other questions as well, while preserving the original set of rights. And I must congratulate you for doing this, and I must thank you for giving me this opportunity.